My name is Gail Sweeney, and I have just written a baking book called Let's Bake, 100 Bakes for Gifting and Sharing. It is my first baking book, and the inspiration for it really came out of COVID-19. Odd that it did, but as you know, people had a lot of time on their hands. I was working at a school as a psychologist, and the school was shut. And the students and the teachers alike were really missing the human contact. And I thought to myself, I've baked all my life. I've always brought the baking into the school. About once a month, I'd bring these huge platters of baking into the school. I'm going to start some videos where the kids can participate with me and bake along with me, and the teachers also can bake along with me. And so I did. And I made about 10 episodes, and it was a lot of fun. The kids would take pictures of their baking and put them online. So it was interactive. And we had a lot of boarders. This was an independent school in Toronto, and they would send the baking home to their parents. And the parents loved that they were actually doing something at a time when they were so far away from home, and there were no extracurricular activities available for them. So after that, COVID-19 persisted. I thought to myself, I really enjoyed sharing the knowledge I've accumulated over the years. I'm going to start a baking book. And it was kind of like a Forrest Gump experience. I didn't know where it was going to go. But once I started it, I spent hours on it. And I had catered. I had a licensed kitchen at one time. This was all while I was still working as a psychologist, but it was a passion. And when I had a licensed kitchen, I would supply bistros with desserts and catering desserts. And it was I just kept wanting more knowledge. I love food. I've always loved food. I remember tasting curry for the first time when I was 11 and thinking I died and gone to heaven. Just the dimensions of the flavor. But what made baking special for me is the artistic factor. I love the beauty that you could make with a cake or a cookie, with organic decorations, just covering it with a bit of chocolate, fruit, some nasturtiums from the garden. But I also loved how happy it made people feel. Working as a psychologist, you try and make people's lives better, kids' lives better. I was a child psychologist. And of course it's difficult because you can't control all the factors that they're grappling with in their lives. But you bring them a special cookie, or you bring into a staff room a special vanilla cake, and everyone gathers around and they become connected with each other. And that's what I loved about baking. So this is my inspiration. It's really, baking is about celebrating life and about bringing people together. And this book is about bakes that you can freeze and gift and share later, bringing families together, bringing them into work. And I also have some creative ideas, like how do you box these things so that they're different? A lot of people started baking during COVID. I was not the exception. Bread and sourdough starters were huge. And I think it enabled them to get through the tough times, to get through feeling isolated. And one of the things that I did was I would post on social media, I've baked more cookies than I can use. A lot of times I was experimenting and would bake 100 cookies in a day. I'm putting them on a park bench at such and such a place. If you would like them, take them, they're yours. And people would. They'd come and they'd take cookies or they'd take some cake I made. But the most amazing thing about that experience for me was they always left something in return. It could be a screwdriver. It could be something to pump your tires up. It could be a pen. And I'd always find a trinket. And I thought to myself, this is exponential giving. And it surprised me that people do want to give back. It was a nice part of people. And I think people wanted to cheer each other on. And that's a very nice part of people when they come together, which is not the first time they did in wars, etc. But I think we can feel proud of ourselves in Canada, in North America, in Europe, that we did get through a pandemic, and we did it in the best possible way we could. Well, I think that people have always baked for friends and for families, but I think that what this book did was, first of all, I catered for so long that I knew what people's favorite cookies were. I knew what people's favorite pies were, favorite cakes. And I thought, since I could never follow a recipe, they were always unique, because I think to myself, I think I can make that taste better. But I think the unique part of this book is I made sure that you could bake it in large quantities. I made sure that they could be frozen. So it's not like you had to do it all in one day and then they went bad in 5 days. This is something you can put in your freezer and have people over or gift it 3 weeks from now. And then just tips. I tried to be user-friendly. So I had an espresso cookie, and it's an espresso cookie dipped in chocolate. And the first time I made it, I was catering to a small store, and the staff ate it and said, "This is not just a cookie." And so I named my catering company Not Just a Cookie. And that's in my cookbook. And how I would sell those cookies is I'd put them in little burlap coffee bags with a little pouch of coffee. So it's just cute, and it's for people who, you know, they may not have a huge amount of money, but they can bake a little something, and I think people appreciate that more than anything, because it takes time, and it's your own touch, and I think it is saying to them, you matter to me. Hatherley Press picked up Let's Bake, over 100 bakes for gifting and giving. It was a total shock to me. It was a phone call one day. I had sent the book to a number of publishers. They're actually an American publisher. They're in the Catskills of New York. So they're publishing the book, and Penguin Random House is distributing the book. So you can pre-order the book now at Indigo or Amazon. That's the easiest thing you can do. It's just online, and you'll see Let's Bake by Gail Sweeney. It's important to type the author's name in. I think there's another Let's Bake out there. But we're here in Barrie's Downtown Library, and hopefully they'll have it too. And hopefully I'll be here at some point if anybody wants to get a book signed or talk to me or ask me about a recipe. I'd love to do that. And so that's where you can find the book. It's being released, the book is being released August 27th. I hope the readers not only enjoy the recipes, but enjoy the little stories about the recipes that are in the book. And I hope that they do get some ideas about how to share these things, even at work, bringing them in as a surprise coffee break. I want them to experience the joy that I did when I was gifting and sharing my baked goods with friends, family, and colleagues. And I really appreciate the fact that people would read this book, to tell you the truth. It's my first book, and I've appreciated all along the feedback that I would get. People helped me, and they were generous with me, and they'd say, you know, why don't you put Nutella in here? I love this cookie. I think you should put some toasted hazelnuts on top. So I enjoy the people that helped me write the book too. You know, my friends just encouraged me, and that was everything to me. So thank you to anybody who takes an interest in the book and wants to get a copy.